Happy Monday, my friends. Today is the day after Easter. We're right in the middle of a month where most of us are stuck in self-isolating or mandatory stay-at-home orders right now during this very strange time, this unprecedented time in the United States history of a pandemic serving to shut down most of our businesses, our livelihoods, and changing many of our lives somewhat, sometimes temporary and somewhat permanently in certain ways for many of us. So how do we deal with this in a way that doesn't destroy us? Are there ways that we can actually use this time to come out of this stronger than ever? And I want to suggest to you today that there are ways that you can use this time to make your life better than it would have been had you never experienced this, to become better than ever out of this time of isolation. And there are 5 ways that I'm going to talk about today, and 5 ways including all the different parts of your aspects of lives. And I'm going to go through Psalm 100 as a motivation and inspiration for this process of making life-optimizing choices in all the aspects of who we are so that we can live through this well and emerge from it as better people and stronger people and living our best. So first of all, in Psalm 100, that kind of alludes to some of those multi-aspect kinds of ways of looking at our lives. We want to look at our physical well-being, our spiritual well-being, our cognitive and emotional well-being, and our relationships and our purpose in life. So we want to talk about all of those things. How can we make those things better? First of all, you want to focus on making time. Nobody ever finds time, even though now some of us have lots of time on our hands. We are sometimes sequestered with lots of people. We used to have alone time, but we need to make time to do devotionals and to spend time in prayer. That's extremely vital to becoming our best now and after we emerge. And if we make those routines very important, the most important piece of our days, then that will be the foundation of all the other things that we need to do to be our best during this time. So we need to make time to connect with God, to hear His voice, and talk to the people in your family and tell them that you need a time. It doesn't need to be hours, but some time. You can set aside 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you can, depending on how many children you have in your home right now. And tell them, this is my time to go pray, and I want you to take the time, if you like, to read or pray. And then we can come together and do a family devotion time, which would be a really great thing that you could implement now that you might not have been able to do before. But you need that alone time as well with God. And make the time to read scripture during that time, to pray for all the things that are in your heart. Just pour out all the things that are in your heart before God, and to also listen. You need to take some of that time to hear God and to receive what He has to give you. It's important to take some of that time to just be very quiet and still before God so you can feel Him wrapping His arms around you, and invite Him to do that. Invite God to wrap His arms around you and be present with you for at least a few minutes every day. And you can break some of that up. It doesn't have to all be at once. The prayer and the reading scripture and the quiet time with God does not have to be all in one lump sum. It's good to do that if you can, but if you can't, you can break that up and put it in different places. So make sure, first of all, that you are making time to connect spiritually with God during this pandemic time. It can be a practice that you continue to do and make time for after, if you establish this habit now. So spiritually, that's how you can become better and stronger than you were before. And secondly, you want to also deal with your mind. Your mind is very important, and again, that was your foundation. So what you put into your mind is going to determine how you feel and how you act and how you relate and all of those other things. And that can stem from what you receive from God as well. So make sure that you are limiting how much time you're spending listening to negative social media and negative news. You have to know what's going on. I get that, but limit that time. And make sure 10 to 1 is ideal, but at least 5 to 1 positive to negative inputs that you put into your mind. So read inspiration. Drink in inspiration. Have inspirational music playing in your home space. Do something that improves the mindset of your home. Change the way you talk about things. I'm not, I can't, add a yet at the end. I'm not working yet, but you will be. I am, and then put an ing word in there. I am working on working. I am learning how to build a resume. I don't know how to do this technology yet. I am learning how to do technology. Change the way you frame what is going on around you with ing terms on how you are improving and moving forward. And if it's a negative, put a yet at the end, because you can get through this, you can do this. Nothing is impossible with God. And that was actually the context in which Paul wrote that verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This verse has been misappropriated a lot to say that we can be superheroes with Christ, but really what he was talking about was enduring hardship. He's been rich, he's been poor, he can do all things through Christ. So when we're enduring hardship, that's the perfect time to put in Philippians 4:13. So mindset is extremely important, and it matters more than you can imagine, because how our minds are determines our health as well. So our emotional well-being will stem from how we set our mind. So that's the first thing that you can do toward the next piece, your emotional well-being. And emotions can be managed. They shouldn't be managing you. So don't do things based on how you feel. Choose to do what you need to do out of your mindset, out of your spiritual connection with God. But when your emotions come into play and they threaten to take over, you need to shift what you're doing. You need to make sure that you're adopting patterns that create emotional wellness. And that would include things like journaling out your feelings to get them out of yourself, expressing it onto paper, not venting on social media because that adds negativity to others. But if you have already vented to God and you've already vented onto the piece of paper, then you can ask for prayer requests without actually negativity bolstering in other people. Say, I need prayer, I'm struggling emotionally. Keep it short, but do ask other people to pray for you. So ask for support, but also make sure that you are dealing with that emotion well. And the best things that you can do emotionally is finding something else to do besides focus on a negative emotion. Find something to play in. Find some arting or crafting or cooking or gardening or something creative to do with your mind to express out that negative emotion. And that is a really important piece. What you do emotionally with your body is it's actually a physical thing. So that leads me to the next piece. Being physically well can affect all of those other things, especially your emotional well-being. So this is a great time to investigate how you can improve your physical well-being. And while it's a little more challenging to learn how to exercise when you've been dependent on gym memberships and things like that, this is a time when you can be creative, and there's lots of resources online about how to exercise in your home. I found out when I was trying to help with gardening that I'm particularly wimpy in my upper body strength. I'm a writer. I'm at my computer, so I only have to raise my hands about this far most of the time. So when I went out for a few minutes to go trim the hedges, and my arms, I couldn't lift them anymore for about 20 minutes, and they were shaking. I was really embarrassed, and I thought, wow, I'm really wimpy. So I've started implementing doing wall push-ups because I'm not strong enough to do regular push-ups, but do whatever you can to try to build your strength and be physically well. We all need to make sure we're getting a little bit of exercise. And these are things that you can do with your family that are fun. You can play tag inside the house. You can learn to do jazzercising, kind of fun, ridiculous 80s jazzercise, yes, but it'll be fun. And that's another thing that's a stress relief as well. So those two things go hand in hand. Laughter is a really great medicine. So learning to do exercise that involves being fun and upbeat and lighthearted about it, no pressure, Just do it to be fun. Find some things that you can do together with the people in your household or alone or maybe online, face to face with some people, and make it fun. I mean, you can lip sync to ridiculous songs while you're exercising, and it can be something that boosts your mood, connects you with people, and implements a way of being healthy. And be careful what you're drinking and eating. Actually, alcohol, which seems like a stress relief and a lot of people are turning to right now, reduces your mind's ability, your brain's ability to respond to stress. So the people that are choosing alcohol are actually reducing their ability to handle the stressors that they're dealing with. So that's a really negative choice, and most people don't realize that. So that's not a shaming thing. It's just to make you aware that that could be toxic to you rather than helpful. So reduce your alcohol intake and instead increase your water intake. Staying hydrated is great. And we are starting to see some toilet paper show up on the shelf. So don't be afraid to hydrate because there's no toilet paper. It's coming back. It's coming back. I saw it on the shelf with a full store yesterday of people. So that's good news. And you can also use some napkins if you split them and make them really thin. So there are other things that you can do to make sure that you're hydrated. And then also choose healthy foods. Reduce your sugar intake because that increases inflammation. Sugar will make you achy. So will all those white flour things. But you can make really great stuff with oats, with almond flour. And if you have almonds or you have regular rolled oats, you can make flour out of that just by putting it in a really good blender and blending it. So you can make pretty much anything you would make with regular flour, with oat flour. And it doesn't have all of the toxins that those things would have. And if you choose if you choose an organic oats, that will actually be better because it won't have glyphosate. Glyphosate, I think is the word. My friend Susan, who did the interview with me a few days ago, she knows that word, and it's a carcinogen. So you don't want to probably put that if you can help it. But it's still better than white flour because it won't give you the carcinogen. So choose whole grains because that will actually help you respond to stress. And it will help you have energy, and it'll help you stay focused if you choose some lean proteins. So those are great things to include in your diet, and lots of vegetables will actually help process all those toxins in your body and help de-stress you and detoxify you. So learning to implement whole foods, whole grain foods, things that God made into your diet will help you feel better physically and emotionally. And you can take this time to be creative and learn how to cook wonderful, delicious, flavorful foods with herbs and spices and all kinds of things that you might be able to find still at your store or out in your yard. Sometimes you may have mint or parsley out in your yard. So these are things that you can start learning to do and be creative. It'll help you with creativity, and it'll help you feel better and be able to have a better immune system, which is something that we need. And if you implement these new healthy habits now, you will have them after this is over. So there's lots of things that you can do to be healthy right now. And then the next thing, another thing that we are lacking right now is a sense of purpose. However, if you are praying about it, if you are developing good mindsets, if you are being healthy emotionally and physically, the next thing that you can do is be prayerful about what can I do with the gifts that I have, with the time that I have, to have a sense of purpose and giving back. What are some of the ways that I can fill needs right now? And how can I build my skill sets so that I can better respond to the emerging needs that are out there? There are a lot of new needs for connecting through technology. That's a skill that you can learn. There are new needs that are going to be in place for people with language skills. So learn those. They're available online for free now where they weren't before. So learn new things, learn new skills, learn technical skills, how to use different programming and different computers. Learn to develop your skill sets and build up your resumes toward what the needs are out there. Look at the marketplace and how it's changing. They're looking for people who can do more online services and work from home. Learn those skills. And don't say, I can't do it. You can. You just have to be learning. I can't do it. Remember to put yet. But I am learning how to do it. And pray for the things that you are meant to do. You may be able to build on a medical skill that you once had used and put that into place and finish off those skills and put that back into your marketability as a person that goes back into the marketplace. You may be able to change your hospitality skills to catering. You may be able to shift and redirect and move the skills that you have. Whereas if you were in hospitality, you may continue that in a different way and learn how to help people pick up healthy, quick meals. You may be a person who, because of your hospitality background or your business background, is great at customer service, which is an industry that's booming right now. So think about your sense of purpose. How can you give back to those who are first responders? How can you volunteer to encourage and help and reach out to those who are lonely from where you are? How can you make phone calls to stay in touch? Giving and having a sense of purpose and looking for what can I do next? What can I do now? To be a person of purpose, of encouragement, of inspiration, and be a positive impact in the lives of others. That will keep you from feeling stagnant and from getting depressed and from giving up. There is always something you can do. You were created by God with gifts. You were created for a purpose in this moment. And I want to direct you to Psalm 100. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. So we lift him up first. Worship the Lord with gladness. We change our mindsets to think positively and reframe where we are and refuse to be sucked into the cycle of negativity. Come before him with joyful songs. Change your environment and keep it positive. Know that the Lord is God. He's got this. He's sovereign over this, and he's got you. You just need to be tuned into him and listening to how he'll direct you to get through this and move forward after this. It was he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. He wants us to be well physically and emotionally. He's the shepherd that gives us tools, that gives us healthy things to provide for us. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Be mindful of the things that you have to be thankful for, and engage your family and your loved ones, whether it's in your home or online, with ways to create thankfulness journals. That'll change your mindsets. It will keep you focused on praise for God. It will help you have a purpose later. Give thanks to him and praise his name, for the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. We're meant to keep giving that message of God's faithfulness and goodness to all the people around us and all those who will come after us. So be mindful of what God can do for you in this moment and what God can do through you now and hereafter. I hope that's a blessing to you and a motivation for you this Monday. I know I need motivation right now, and helping inspire you is my way of helping have a sense of purpose for all of us together. So may you be blessed and have a wonderful Easter week moving forward, because it's still Easter. It's still the time of resurrection. Even on this Monday, we are still praising and rejoicing that we live in a God who is a God of life, not death, an overcoming God that encourages us to go forth into the world and bring his great message of life to others. So be blessed and be a blessing. Bye-bye.